You wake as the sun reaches the hills of Jerusalem. It is around the year 30. Your phone is gone. Your money means nothing. You cannot read the signs, and you do not know where water comes from. You have one good thing going for you. A local family has opened its door. Someone puts a clay jar in your hands and points downhill. That jar is your test. Could you find water, food, a safe place to sleep, and make it to the next morning? Your first problem is not Rome. It is water. Jerusalem is built on hills, cut by deep valleys. The lower city sits near the spring of Siloam. The temple rises far above it. So water moves through the city in many ways. Springs. Pools. Cisterns cut into rock. Channels. Long water lines built across the hills. And jars carried by hand. This was real engineering. It was not a modern water system. The city has water. That does not mean you can reach it. You need to know which source is close. You need a vessel. You need the right path. If the water is stored inside a house, you need permission. Even the word cistern can fool a modern ear. It is not a tap, and it is not one public tank used by the whole city. It is a place made to catch and hold water. Some belonged to homes or large buildings. Others served busy areas. The system was a web of places, not one pipe you could follow. Archaeology can show us channels in cut stone. It cannot tell us which jar one poor family was allowed to fill on one morning. And when the jar is full, you carry the weight back uphill. The historian Josephus even links Pontius Pilate to a water project for Jerusalem. He says Pilate used temple money to pay for it, and a protest turned violent. That story comes from years after the event. Scholars still debate which aqueduct Josephus meant. But it shows that water was not just a chore. It could touch money, power, and faith. Now look at the road under your feet. Some major areas near the temple had stone paving and drains. Other streets were not the same. Jerusalem was a living city, not one smooth stone set. The most famous route climbed from Siloam toward the temple. Modern pictures often show a wide stepped street. There is a problem. Archaeologists found a coin from 30 or 31 beneath part of that pavement. The grand street could not have been finished before that coin was placed there. So if your day falls a little earlier, you cannot walk through the finished street shown in so many new models. One coin under a road changes the picture. It also changes your legs. The climb is still real. The neat pavement may not be. By the time you return with water, breakfast sounds easy. Bread. Grain. Maybe oil, fruit, or vegetables, based on the house, season, and money available. But there is no instant meal waiting on a shelf. Grain has to be stored and worked. Water has to be carried. Fuel has to be used. The food in front of you exists because a household knows how to make it. Simple food is not instant food. This is where your host matters again. You do not know the price. You do not know the coins. You do not know what the family has saved for the week. You also cannot solve the problem by handing over a modern bill. Money works because people agree on what it is. Your cash has no shared value here. Even if you found metal to trade, you would still need someone who knew its weight, worth, and place in the market. We can describe common foods in Roman Palestine. We cannot name one breakfast eaten by each home in Jerusalem. So you eat what is shared, and the day goes on. Outside, the city can speak to strangers. Just not in English. People in Jerusalem used Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek in different settings. We cannot turn that mix into one clean chart. We also cannot say everyone spoke the same language. But two stone texts give us a clue. One is a warning from the temple. It was written in Greek so foreign visitors could understand a boundary. The other came from a synagogue built by a man named Theodotos. Its Greek text says the place was used to read the law and teach. It also names rooms and water for people visiting from abroad. That is a small stone with a huge effect on your day. It does not prove that any visitor got a free bed. It does not tell us how many rooms existed. Yet it confirms that at least one group in Jerusalem planned for outsiders who needed water and a place to stay. Your host is not a trick added to save the story. Hospitality was built into at least one real institution. If you like stepping inside the world behind the Bible, subscribe. We have more days like this to test. With food and water handled, you follow your host toward the temple. This is the heart of the city. It is also where not knowing the rules can matter fast. Near the southern entrances, archaeologists found large ritual baths. people stepped down into water as part of purity practice. These were not public pools for cooling off. Their steps in place near the temple point to a religious use. Stone cups and bowls found in Judea also show that purity rules shaped real objects, not just ideas in a book. That does not mean each person used one each day. Jewish life was not one fixed routine. But around the temple, purity had a shape you could see in stone. Access also had lines. The Greek warning did not ban foreigners from the whole Temple Mount. It marked an inner barrier they were not allowed to cross. That difference matters. The temple is open. Just not in the same way to everyone. Your identity, role, and state of purity change how far you can go. One wrong idea would not prove instant death. But walking without guidance could bring you to a line you did not know existed. Your host knows where to stop. Rome is here too, though not as a soldier on each corner. Pilate governed Judea from 26 to 36. Josephus records clashes over Roman symbols and the water project. Those events show that Roman force was real. They do not turn a normal weekday into a riot. For your one day, Rome sits behind the coins, the governor, public works, and the risk that a crowd can change. The greater shock may be quieter. Much of the best housing found by archaeologists comes from the upper city. These homes had large rooms, fine objects, ritual baths, and signs of wealth. They are easy to draw. They are also dangerous to trust. Rich homes leave more for us to find. A grand house cannot stand for the average home. The best rooms we can see may be the least typical. So when you return to your host, we should not give the family a mansion. We do not have a perfect floor plan for an ordinary house. We know enough to give them storage, vessels, work, and a place to gather. The rest stays open. Sunset takes the city away piece by piece. A small oil lamp pushes back part of the dark. It needs fuel. It needs a hand to light it. It gives far less light than the room you know. That does not prove every street was black or that no one went outside. It proves that light was made, fed, and watched. Your jar is back by the wall. The lamp sits beside it. Water and light. Two simple things that reached you through other people. So could you survive one day in ancient Jerusalem? Probably, if you were healthy and a local household took you in. You were not saved from a city built to kill you. You were guided through a city whose systems you could not read. Without that help, water, food, language, money, religious lines, and shelter would turn one day into a much harder test. You could make it to morning. But only after learning that in this city, survival was something people did together.